Welcome to the Fools on a Hill podcast. This is episode 0. I am your host, Cal, and I'm joined today by the lovely Yanni.
Hello.
And the mediocre Liam.
Hello. I am mediocre.
How are we, boys? We okay?
Mediocre, apparently.
Yeah. I think that's quite
It's
generous,
fair.
to be honest.
It's fair, set low expectations and exceed those expectations.
And maintain.
Well, yeah.
Maintain them throughout. Yes. This is a new music podcast where me and the other two fools will take you through the week's music. Give you
sounds good.
Maybe
We'll see how it
give
goes.
you our recommendations, and quite often moan about the shite that we have to listen to for your entertainment.
Yeah.
This is, as I said, episode 0. So we will take you through what a normal podcast episode will be, and we will also give you an insight into our musical influences and tastes, so you can find out a bit more about ourselves.
Sounds fun.
Yes.
I'm for it.
So, well, I'm glad you are. So, Liam,
Callum,
tell me what this podcast is, please. Why are we doing
you've
it?
just explained what this podcast is. This podcast...
You
Yeah,
have to be
but-
fair.
No, I'll say it again. This...
Word for word. Repeat it.
Yeah, as Callum said there, it's a music podcast where we'll be covering the week's music and news. We're doing this because... I don't know why we're doing it, really. We like music. We like talking. We don't like talking to each
Yeah.
other, so that was a unfortunate side effect of this. But
Severe stumbling block when starting a podcast.
yeah, very, very unfortunate. But yeah, basically just giving our hot takes on music, as Callum said. A lot of bullying of me, in particular.
Yep.
Yanni and Callum like to gang up, but you'll find that out soon enough, I'm positive. Our usual podcast. Am I doing this, Callum? Is this what you set me up for? This first bullet point.
Yeah, you're going to tell us about our recurring segment?
Of
yeah?
course, we do have recurring segments.
Yes.
Da-da-da. Those recurring segments have gone from my brain. No. So each week we'll do a recurring segment, typically starting with our news segment, which we call "What's the Story?"
Noel's a Tory.
No, yeah. Where we will discuss the week in news from podcast to podcast. And we'll talk about that news, whether it's album announcements, personal news of any artists we like, whatever. Just news. I'm sure you're all aware of what the news is at this point. If you're not, you should
I've heard of the news.
Google it. It's quite interesting sometimes. Following the news, we'll go into our first... It's not our first segment, our second segment, which we call Hot Off the Press. This is a segment which we'll talk about the week in music. We operate on a Friday to Thursday schedule. Most releases, album releases at least, are on a Friday. So we will kind of work from the previous Friday, if that makes sense. You'll get used to it, I'm sure. But I guess maybe for the first couple we'll say which day we're starting from and you can keep up, whatever. But we'll talk about albums and singles that have been released in that week, if there's been any kind of interesting music documentaries that'll be included there, and kind of anything that's been released in that week. We'll all take away one album each from the week's releases that we think seems interesting. Whether that be because we personally like the artist, because it sounds like something good, or something that maybe we're not so familiar with, but that kind of piques our interest. And we'll each take those away. Hopefully we'll all get a chance to listen to each other's as well and discuss that. But the individual that takes that individual album away will give a bit more of an in-depth analysis and a rating. Sorry, that happened to my voice then.
Damn, that sounds interesting.
It is interesting. A rating out of 5, which you'll love. But yeah, so that's the hot off the press, and then obviously we'll talk about singles briefly, but not in as much detail, unless we want to.
Yeah. This segment will be more of our kind of music recommendations because after doing 5 weeks of practice podcasts,
Yes.
we have realised that listening to music that is shit
Mm-hmm.
is shit.
Yeah. So we will be kind of scanning over these beforehand just to make sure that they're definitely we're gonna have something to say about it at least. But that's something we will post on social media, which I'll go over at the end if you're interested. Every Wednesday, I believe, at this moment.
Stay tuned for that.
There's an important part, but we'll be posting kind of every Wednesday at the moment. But at least a good time before the podcast releases the albums that we've decided to listen to. But if you've got an album that you think we should listen to, then leave a comment. Let us know.
Don't recommend it. We don't listen to anyone else but ourselves.
That is true, but you can post it anyway, and it'll look good for us. But no promises whatsoever.
That will really help us with the Instagram algorithm.
Exactly.
So please do that.
No, please do. If you've got something that you think we all like based on our previous favourites, then go ahead. But that's essentially hot off the press. I don't think there's much more to say on there.
I think there's more than essentials in there, my friend. You've covered everything.
Everything
the nuts
you
and
ever need.
crannies.
There's no point listening to any of the episodes now. You'll just know. We'll just tell you which
No.
albums are, and then you can fill the rest in with like robot learning or something. That then leads nicely into our album spotlight. The album spotlight is, I guess, similar to Hot Off the Press. We'll look at a single album from the week that's just gone by.
It's almost like we spotlight an album.
Yes. We do a bit
That's
of a
clever.
deeper dive, don't we, boys?
We do a deeper dive, yeah. And we'll all go in a bit more detail into one album, and we'll all give a rating out of 10, and work out the average in a number of ways. Whether you're a range guy, median, mode, or mean,
Or mode.
any of the preferred. I think there's probably different ways of doing it. Anyway, we'll do that on Album Spotlight.
Yeah, unlike Hot Off the Press, album spotlight, we kind of go in blind, or we try to.
Mm-hmm.
So, whereas Hot Off the Press might be more music that we recommend people should listen to, album spotlight could be something that we all find horrific.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it's
That's
nice
happened.
it's nice to be miserable.
Yeah. Yes, that's a good point. So we will go in blind when we choose it. So we'll basically
We
announce
tend
it.
to pick it a week before, don't we? On prior podcasts.
We'll announce it on the
Yeah.
podcast before. So we
So
kind
there's
of
no going back.
we're locking it in. But we will probably, I imagine, base that on if there's an album we're all looking forward to, and that's that
Yeah.
week. We'll
or
pick
something that will be good in the title for a bit of
that.
clickbait.
Exactly. But if there's nothing that week, then we have to pick something. Oh, sorry, if nothing that we are already fans of, we'll have to pick something that we're all fresh to and stick with that one. So lots of ups and downs.
Which
on
could
that
be equally as exciting,
one. Absolutely, as is life.
or not.
Following from there, from the album Spotlight, we have a segment that won't be necessarily be every week. It's very much dependent on the nature of the
Money.
segment. But will be a segment called Under the Needle, which is a segment where we will talk about musical purchases on the format of vinyl that we've bought in the week. And we'll just go over what we've purchased, a bit about the record, if there's a limited edition or something like that, or there's some special B-sides.
What colour it is? What
Colours,
colour blue is it?
We love colours.
I want the specific
Yeah,
shade.
we'll be getting up the Dulux colour finder thing. I've got a set of swatches here, and we'll
Chart.
just flick through until we find the right one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we'll just talk about the albums in a physical manner, and also briefly about the album if we're big fans. And that's
You'd hope so if you're spending 20 quid on it.
yeah. Records are expensive these days.
It is.
But that's about it, really, in terms of recurring segments. I don't think I've missed anything off, have I?
I don't think you have.
That's
mate,
good.
No.
So Yanni, you've barely spoken. Do you
Who?
want to tell the lovely listeners who we are and how we know each other?
I don't know any of
Yanni
you.
doesn't speak for me. I won't allow it.
Well, we've all introduced ourselves, so that's it. You're not got any more names. Who we are, Fools on the Hill. If you're a fan of music, you may recognise the name somewhat already. But this has come from a Beatles song entitled "The Fool on the Hill," which took much deliberation in terms of how we were going to actually put it as the title. Liam struggles to speak,
That's true.
as we will evidence with this nice little note on how it came to be Fools on a Hill.
I'm going to pitch the reasons here for Falls on a Hill. Now, number one, for me, Falls on a Hill versus Falls on the Hill. It just sounds better in my ears. I think it's easier to say. I know I've got a bit of a slight speech impediment, but Falls on a Hill, Falls on the Hill. I'm going to listen to... Have you heard Falls on the Hill? Have you heard the Falls on the Hill podcast? I've heard the Falls on the Hill podcast. I think Falls on the Hill... This is probably far too deep, but it's almost like specifying the same hill that the Fool on the Hill was from. Whereas we're just 3 fools on a hill. Maybe we could be 3 fools on a hill. Maybe that's the answer to this. But I think we're on our own hill. But it's just a nod. It's a cap tip, whatever you do with your caps. You tip it. You tip your cap. It's just, it's slight. It's not, what's the word I'm looking for? It's just not in your face. What's the word I'm looking for? It's like faint. It's subtle. So as you can clearly tell there, I struggle to say simple words and simple phrases, which is what led us to this.
Something he's always struggled with, even as a child, which, funnily enough, is how we know each other. Segue.
Lovely.
Do you reckon the listeners will know that we've discussed that? Going off that.
Just 4-4.
Yeah.
Breaking the 4-4.
I'm going to break it. Smash right on through
Should we just
the
go
wall.
back to... I just feel like we should go back to...
No, I'm already on it. So, as is evident at this point, we've known each other quite a while.
Yes. For better or worse.
Sadly,
Yeah, I think... Well, Callum and Liam, you've known each other longer from primary school. Is that correct?
That is so
No, it's not true.
incorrect.
No? They're not?
It's very inappropriate, Yanni.
Is it?
Really, to say
I thought you
the
knew
truth.
each other for ages.
No,
No?
we started high school together. We were in the same class in year 7.
Oh, well,
same
okay.
form class.
Big up Miss Jackson and Miss Valley Echo.
I'm sorry, Miss Jackson.
Yeah.
Liam
Liam got sent out of the class once for singing that.
Did I? I don't remember that.
And seeing as I was wrong about Callum and Liam, I've known Liam since birth. No, I've not
I'm
really.
actually Yanni's father. So I've known him his whole life.
So when did we? Like
Well,
year 8 or
so
9?
yeah, I think it was about year 9.
I don't know how we got introduced.
I will tell you.
Oh, go on. then.
So, Yanni, you may recall you had started a band around this point, or possibly sometime prior with an old friend of ours.
Sounds like something I'd do.
And around this time, Callum and I, as we were already friends from year
From
7,
primary school, yeah?
From primary school, yeah. I did around the same time. Callum and I were doing guitar lessons together. I don't know if you remember that, Cal.
Oh, it must suck to
what
be
a-
you two.
What a
Yeah,
time to
getting
be
lessons.
alive.
With Mr.
Welcome
Peel.
to the Hotel Prestatyn.
Yeah. So, yeah. Our guitar teacher liked to sing Hotel California Hotel Prestatyn to the tune of Hotel California. Every single lesson. It's the only song I never learned it.
It
We
really
just
bugs
played
me.
the chords along.
He could have at least picked Abigail, which would have had the same amount of syllables.
Yeah,
It would have.
I guess so.
It would have flowed better. That's bugged me for about 8 years.
Should point out we're all from North Wales, if you're missing that reference. But yeah, we were doing guitar lessons together. Yanni had sort of started a band in year 9, separate to us. And I remember Callum coming to me one day, so you may be able to fill the blank in before this, but Callum coming to me saying, "Oh, I've joined the band." I was like, "Oh, who have?" "Oh, Yanni and Cameron." And, "Oh, okay, yeah." And I thought, I should be in this band.
I don't remember this.
I thought, I can play guitar better than Callum.
Yeah.
So I should be in this band. Sorry, I did think that at the time. Not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, it's true.
And so so you don't remember the beforehand to that at all?
No,
You
I
can't
don't
follow
really.
up
I
to
don't really remember being in your band at all.
Yeah.
Well, this is where it becomes
Yeah.
awkward.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll come to that part. So I
hope we don't.
went.
Don't break my
Yeah,
heart.
let's gloss over it. we one day I joined you guys doing a little mess around, a little practice, and I wanted to join the band. There was no space left for a guitarist, so I picked up a bass and started my journey.
And
as
since then, he's played drums.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
I actually and the saxophone. No, I started playing bass and then to play bass probably better than play guitar now. But
I'd definitely say that.
and then thanks, Yanni. I feel like that's a backhanded
It really is.
compliment. And then we were in a band forever and ever and ever, and we were really famous all together.
You know where
Really
I've got
happy.
primary school from?
No.
Because I met Callum when I was in primary school with another a friend,
A mutual.
Friends.
a mutual friend, and he introduced you, Cal, as being really, really shy, and like you wouldn't say a single thing.
Who was
He's like,
this? Was this Morg?
Yeah, it was more. And he went, yeah, he's
I
not gonna.
Did you know Morgan performed?
He was like, yeah, he won't. He's probably not going to say much to you. He's like a really shy person. I was like, right. And it's one of those things where, you know, someone tells you something about someone and they're not like that at all. And
Couldn't
you're like,
have
"What?"
been more wrong.
Yeah. I was like, oh, right, okay.
I feel like I remember you being quiet, Callum.
No, I've never been quiet.
So it's
It
too
takes a while
loud.
for
Can't
some
tell him to
people.
shut up.
Yeah, it takes a
Um,
while for some
yeah.
people to get to know me. And I come out my shell.
I reckon I'm the quiet one.
Yeah,
But
and Morg, bless him.
yeah, that's true. But yeah, you weren't. And I've just stopped being friends with him ever since. No, not really.
Yeah, I was looking at Instagram yesterday, actually.
But yeah, then me and Liam were in a band because we forced Liam to hit Callum out because he knew Callum for longer.
Yeah.
So we were like,
It was really
you can break
brutal.
this to Callum. We
Yeah.
don't want to do that. It's a bit too
Yeah.
awkward for us. And then we were in
Sorry,
college.
Callum.
Callum went to a slightly different college. Liam decided
Slightly
he
different. It
wasn't-
was a different college.
yeah.
It wasn't slightly different.
Yeah, it was slightly
I
different.
went to sixth form.
He went to a different
Yeah.
institution.
And then Liam went to a fucking different country.
Yeah, that's true. I did.
And then me and Cal decided.
Now we're adults.
Well, no, there's more. Now, and then me and Cal.
No, we're just adults then.
Oh, right.
That's just it.
All right, okay. Now I'm 40.
No problem. Go on, I was abroad and what happened?
And we
You went behind
we
my
were
back.
like, oh, thank God Liam's gone. And then we decided to
Yanni came crawling back.
make our own little band together, and you know we get along now.
We do get along.
It does.
We do.
And now we're friends, and you know, Liam
You made that sound
sometimes
like
speaks.
you made that sound like we fell out during high school. I don't remember falling out.
No, we didn't.
I am. It's interesting though because I don't necessarily remember you two being particularly close friends until I wasn't there. To
Yeah.
look after you both.
No,
Yeah.
we didn't.
That is true. We
we
were
were-
mates, but we got close in when I was in sixth form. Yanni was in college because we had a
Yeah.
combined class, didn't we?
Well, yeah, we were sat next to each other for most of it, and that's when we started talking about our musical tastes, which we'll get to. Don't you worry.
Yes, that would have been such
You
a
like
lovely
music?
segment. Segue. Why do I keep saying
Segue.
segment?
Don't know. Swagway?
Rude.
Remember those? You know what?
I've got back
I'm
a lot of
sick
things.
of talking about each other. Let's talk
Yeah.
about our tastes right now.
Yeah, let's talk about each other. Tastes. Each other's tastes. Lol.
So, we we decided to do it this way because you know the seamless transition that was. We've come together and done our top 3 collective bands, which we all agree on that we'd
Yes.
say are our best, our favourite bands, really. That we've gone through a whole list and we just all agreed that these were the best according to us 3. So
I wouldn't necessarily say this is our. These aren't our favourite bands.
No,
but
no.
This is the 3 that all 3 of us agree are top notch. But wouldn't all
collective.
necessarily put in our own top 3. There are a lot of bands that we share, but these were kind of the 3 that we only. I don't think we managed to get 5 that we all 3 really liked.
Yeah.
And I guess these are the top 3 of that 4.
So we will get on to our individual tastes after this, but because these are the main ones, we're gonna go through these first for you. So, as with the name, you should probably have guessed. We've gone with the Beatles.
Who? Sorry.
You know the Beatles, guys. Come on. Liam's typing away on something. The Beatles. So we all collectively like them. I don't know if it's different eras. Do we all? Because
Possibly. I think
We've not
I
discussed that, have we?
worked out that Callum and I are slightly different, I guess.
yeah,
Yeah, well, when we
I would say that
go on.
I was going to say I don't think that any of us really care much for early Beatles.
I wouldn't say I don't care for it, but like if
I-
I was going to put an album on, like a whole album, I'd be very unlikely to put something before A Hard Day's Night on.
preferences
Careful maybe
after
was the wrong
65.
term. Yeah, I would say that.
After 65, when Revolver come out, and then everything after that, more or less, is
Is Rubber Soul before Revolver?
Yeah, Rubber Soul was the
Yes.
one before Revolver. Yeah.
yeah.
I think I should get the Beatles up somewhere.
Well, you'll struggle to get a couple of them, mate.
Give it a bit of time. I'll
So while Liam's fiddling, what's your favourite Beatles album, Jan?
Oh, you can't lump that on me just
This
like
is
that.
impossible.
I've
I
just
should
lumped it
have.
on
I should have.
You've been lumped, mate.
I've been lumped. Not again. No.
Lumped.
Oh, you know what? I hate you for asking that question.
Say it.
To be honest, because it was at one point it was Revolver, but now it won't be.
You're taking too long.
I'm going to go with the White Album.
Okay.
Because
Our favourite song.
not favourite song. Because well, it leads me into that. Happiness is a Warm Gun is my favourite Beatles song, and obviously the White Album is home to said song.
Yeah.
And
I actually might
Yeah.
agree that Happiness is a Warm Gun is at least top 3 Beatles songs.
it's
For sure,
definitely
mate.
top 3. I mean, A Day in a Life is also within that top 3, but
Yep.
there's a couple on Sgt. Pepper's that I'm not really too fussed about. Whereas, I mean, it probably helps the White Album is so long and it has so many songs on, but I do like a lot of the songs. Yeah, I want to go with the White Album, so,
So
suck it.
would you say, Yanni, then that your favourite era is kind of middle era, or do you skew towards the end a little bit?
The end, I reckon, Yeah.
So I'd say personally for me, it's the last 3 albums are my favourite albums. So
Yeah.
the White Album, Abbey Road and Let It Be.
Yeah.
I love all 3 of those albums.
I'm gonna have to agree with you. I didn't want to, but I'm gonna have to. Someone's got
hard
to
to
come to
agree
my
with
head. I'm gonna have to do that.
Callum, what would you say?
My personal favourite is Revolver, but I do have a lot of love for the White Album, obviously.
Isn't it
But-
weird that I was reluctant to say any album just because they're all so popular that I didn't want to be like, oh, I don't want to pick the popular one. But like
Because
they're
you're
all
so indie.
they're all popular, aren't they? So I mean,
I
It's-
mean,
you
they are
can't-
probably the biggest band
I'd
of all
say so.
time.
yeah, you've heard of them, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what's your favourite song, Liam, of the Beatles?
My favourite song. I think I agree. Happiness is a Warm Gun. Or maybe A Day in the Life. No, not A Day in the Life. In My Life.
Oh, okay. Well, Rubber Soul then.
Yeah. I do like Rubber Soul. I'm quite a big fan of Rubber Soul.
Yeah.
For those last 3 albums. I love Dig a Pony. I
Yeah,
Got a
you
Feeling.
do.
Some of those songs off Let It Be as well. I don't know. A favourite songs for a band so big and spanning so many different styles.
Hang
it's
on,
hard to
we've
pick a
got
favourite.
an incoming message. Yeah, we've had enough of Liam. Callum, what's your favourite Beatles song?
Number 1 there. That's the first time.
My favourite changes quite often.
Not heard that one.
Probably Tomorrow Never Knows, which is I know that's quite a basic one,
I don't think it is.
isn't it?
I wouldn't say that's a basic one at all,
I
mate.
wouldn't say
A lot of
so.
people don't like that
necessarily.
song.
Oh, well,
I don't really know if I can think what that song is.
you need to go and listen
Middle
to
Eastern.
it, Liam, because it is
Vibes.
wonderful.
I've just remembered Glass Onion.
That's
Yeah.
a great tune.
It is.
I really like Savoy Truffle.
Yep.
Across the Universe from Let It Be.
Yep.
That is
Yeah.
a beautiful song.
Yeah.
It's
Go on
just,
then. Lennon or
don't really know.
McCartney? Go.
Lennon for me personally.
Oh, this is so hard.
Yeah.
I would have always said McCartney purely because I think he's like one of the best bass players of all time and musician-wise. But I've come to find that maybe some of the songs I thought that some of the songs I like more are actually Lennon songs.
Yeah, that's my
But
thing.
I also love
yeah.
a lot of McCartney songs.
Yeah,
so
I
it's
love
very
Paul
hard to-
McCartney as well. There's no denying that. But
He was definitely the better. He's still alive? He definitely is the better musician and
Yeah.
all around musical
Mhm.
person is
But
better.
It's hard because
But Lennon, I feel like he had the better
he had
songs.
style, man.
Yeah.
He had some real style that I think made some of his songs, some of songs that he was lead on, I guess,
Yeah.
edge it slightly.
So that was the Beatles, right? We talked about the Beatles.
Yeah, we did
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about the
yeah, yeah.
Beatles
That
quite
was
a lot,
that was the Beatles. Yeah. The next one we're gonna sound. I mean, these are all typical because we all like them. It's Arctic Monkeys. This is
Yeah.
this came into play, especially when we were in that little band that we mentioned before. As with
Mhm.
any new
Can't
band
relate.
now.
I guess so. We should say the
Yeah, you
Beatles.
can for a week.
for-
As with what are you gonna say, Liam?
I
Tell
was going
us.
to say for the Beatles, I guess you and I, Yanni, got really into them in college time. I guess.
I remember us having a
Um,
conversation at your house going, the Beatles are so overrated, and then we listened to them and we
Yeah.
were like,
Oh,
well,
a
let's
couple of
let's
days
never
later.
tell that story to anyone, but I'm bringing it
Yeah,
up.
I had like 6 Beatles
Yeah.
posters on my wall all of a sudden.
But yeah, moving back to Arctic Monkeys. I don't know what accent that was. But yeah, as with any like sort of new band starting now, post whatever people say I am, they always will play Arctic Monkeys songs for a particular reason, that they're just fucking good
Yep.
songs. And to be honest with you, their discography is just incredible. So
It's insane. I take long periods of not listening to Arctic Monkeys,
Mm.
and it was not long ago actually that I put all the records on
same
from
time.
beginning to end all at once. It was a bit of a mess, but I got from beginning to end and sat and listened to them all. And it'd been a long time that I'd listened to some of the stuff, like some of the what would people say I am specifically, I guess. And honestly, some of the songs are just incredible and still hold up so well.
Are we all
But still like a good time capsule.
definitely?
I guess
Well,
some of the old ones.
I still go off like date wise and timing things, going off Arctic Monkeys albums.
yeah,
That's how I work in my mind. I was going to say then, are we all in agreement? Are we going to say Humbug's our favourite, or is Callum
Without-
going to
without a
interject?
doubt.
Absolutely humbug, yeah.
I absolutely love Tranquility Base,
Well, so do I.
Ooh.
which
But-
I know a lot of
I
people don't, but I think it's just such a wonderful album. Maybe it shouldn't be a Monkeys album. Maybe it should have been a Turner solo thing, just because of how much of a stylistic
lack
change
of
it
any
was.
other
Well, no, but
individual in that band on that album.
no,
There's some-
but I just
there's
think
some
it's
Matt
just,
really,
Elders
really
was
good bass riffs.
tranquilised.
No, there's some cracking
there's some
bass
good
riffs on there.
yeah, the bass is amazing on it.
It's just
Shut
not-
your mouth,
It
Liam.
doesn't do it for
God
me. It
damn.
doesn't do it for me.
I
And
just-
particularly when I listen to them from the beginning to end,
To me, it feels like a closer. Like if that was the last album they did, it would feel like, okay, I saw that coming, because it feels like the end of like an era
I get
for
that.
them.
But I feel like if that was, and I absolutely agree with that, and I think it would have been a good album to have as your last album. But it feels like there's a few steps missing between AM and that.
Well, there was
Yeah,
a
well,
That
long wait.
makes it too disjointed for me. It makes it too different.
They've
Well,
been a band
doesn't-
that have always tried to change up their style, haven't they? Which is
Yeah.
But you can always link it to the previous. I
Yeah,
guess. You
yeah,
can
exactly.
see that progression very well. But that last album just stands out
yeah.
too much.
I think as
I think
as
you
Yanni
can-
said, there's too much of a time difference.
There is too much to add, but I
Yeah.
think going back and
agree with that.
referencing Humbug, I think there's definitely some. It may be chords, it may be guitar sounds, but I
Mm.
definitely feel like at times there are riffs and stuff that sort of hark back to the Humbug era.
Yeah, especially I saw them live during the Tranquility tour a few times. Not to rub it in, but
I didn't see him at all.
I saw them
Sorry.
3 times. Just
Well,
and I fucking know about one of them.
yeah. Well, we'll save that one for a rainy day. But I would like to say thank you again, Yanni. You were
You're very
kind.
welcome.
But especially live, I think they went back to their heavier roots in that were found in Humbug,
Right.
which kind of makes me hope that might be a route they go down again. I don't want Humbug 2, but I think it'll be based on their live sound. I think it'll be quite heavy riffs and synths, which will be quite exciting.
I remember when before AM came out and everyone said it was Humbug 2, and then it really wasn't at all. But yeah,
it's I feel like one album that always kind of gets missed off these. It was actually the album that came out around the time I started listening to Arctic Monkeys, and I personally didn't care much for it at the time. But Suck It and See is a really good album.
it really is.
I always
feel
overlook
like
it.
Often gets missed out.
I always overlook it, and every time I put it on, I'm like, this is
There's a lot of
amazing.
really
I don't
good
know if
songs
it
on that
reminds
album.
me of being like 13
Yeah.
and actually
One of my
enjoying
one of my
things.
favorite Arctic Monkey songs is on that album.
I know
Go
what
on
it
then,
is.
Yanni,
I
what's
know
your,
what it is.
What's your
Can I
favourite
guess?
Arctic Monkey song?
Can I
Go on.
guess?
Go on.
That's where you're wrong.
It is that one, yeah.
Yes.
It's a very good song.
I
Yeah.
know him. He's my friend.
I'm real,
played
everyone. I'm here. You can touch me if you want. It's fine. I do exist. I'm real life. I don't know why I went slightly bar at the end.
It's real life.
Yeah, I'd say that's definitely one of my favorites. But yeah, no, you go back and you look back on these albums and you think they're better than what you expect. Maybe you'll have that with Tranquility at the end, because I hope you
Yeah.
do, because I really do think it's one of their best albums.
It's so good.
It
Maybe.
is.
It just doesn't grab me as much as the others. That I don't think I'd listen to it.
Mm.
I've listened to it maybe 3 times in full. and it just
Right.
doesn't-
Well, that's probably your problem then.
But it doesn't. It can't.
I think I listened
it's
to it
just
more
not
than that on the
interesting.
first day.
It's just not. It just doesn't grab me at all. But Callum, what's your favourite Arctic Monkey song?
It's torn between two. They are Dangerous Animals.
Yep.
And Star Treatment.
Jeweler's Hand is my favourite, by the way. I just wanted to throw that
is a
in.
great one.
Okay.
Jeweler's Hand is my
I,
favourite
um,
Arctic Monkey song
Or
ever.
Secret Door. There's just so many.
I'm going to be controversial and say I have a. I'm going to say a favourite EP, I guess. But the My Propeller B-sides.
Yes.
That
What
set
were-
Yeah.
of 4 songs.
What were
Well,
It's My Propeller,
Yeah.
obviously. Joining the Dots.
Is that Sketchhead?
No, that's Cornerstone.
That's
That one.
Sketchhead. That's Cornerstone. Joining the Dots, The Afternoon's Hat, and Don't Forget Whose Legs You're On.
Yeah.
And I think they are. Those 4 songs together are absolutely unbelievable. And I think they're my favourite 4 songs.
So you're controversial.
Frightline Dining Room from Cornerstone is also.
Yeah, Frightline Dining Room's probably one of my favourite B-sides of theirs. I normally skip Don't Forget Whose Legs You're On. I don't really know
Wow.
why.
I love that song. Those B-sides, some of the. That's another thing about Arctic Monkeys. Almost every single B-side is absolutely unbelievable.
Almost better than some of the album tracks as well, half the time.
Yeah, a
Like,
good chunk of them are.
Stop the World should have been on AM instead.
instead of I Want It All.
Yeah.
God
I
damn it,
Want It All.
why did they
Yes.
put that on? Why did they release it?
Don't.
But yeah, I think that's covered for Arctic Monkeys.
Yeah.
The next one, and we
Kings of
do.
Leon.
Okay, well,
I'll-
you said it. I was gonna preface it because
He's building it.
we are talking about earlier Kings of Leon as opposed to the
last
latest.
2 albums.
Yeah, the last 2 albums. But yeah, we all agreed that Kings of Leon have been a massive influence on me.
Instrumental.
And that's a good choice of words.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I can't beat
Thank you
that.
very much. I know.
Yeah, at Kings of Leon, take the floor, Liam Godfrey. Yeah,
Wow, I was the worst person to come to on this particular topic. Yeah, Kings of Leon. I remember there was a point in time where HMV had this deal on where you could buy 3 CDs for a tenner. And that's when I got into quite a lot of music. I guess I was like 11, maybe. And I bought the first 3 Kings of Leon albums 1 week, and they blew my mind. I just feel like there's no band I know that I kind of like them. And I guess that's kind of similar to Arctic Monkeys in a way, especially at the time. I don't know, there's a lot of bands like Arctic Monkeys, but Kings of Leon, especially those early albums, were so kind of raw and brilliant. I don't know.
yeah.
But I also really like I really liked Come Round Sundown when that came out.
Yeah, that's a wonderful
That again was I think that was the year before Suck It and See came out, but that was about the time I started reading NME and getting into music a little bit.
This was
and,
way after Suck It and See.
No, it's not. Come Around Sundown. It's
It's a year-
2010.
hang on.
2010.
Why
Suck It and
is
See
my-
2011.
Apple Music playing up. It says 2013. I was like,
You need to
that's,
fix that.
that's odd.
That's when
You need to fix
Mechanical
that.
Bull was, wasn't it?
Yes.
Weird.
But yeah, really like Come Round Sundown at the time. One I kind of always glossed over was Only by the Night, because obviously that's where the hits were on, and I didn't love Sex on Fire, but listening back to that recently is a very good album,
It's a
and
very good
possibly
album. They've got
one
so
of my
many good
favourites.
songs. If you get past,
And-
I know Sex on Fire and You Somebody are mainstream because they are really good songs.
Yeah.
But you need
I always
to
liked
get
You
past,
Somebody anyway.
Yeah,
I
you
didn't
need
get
to
sick
get
of that.
past
The
them.
Sex on Fire was overrated.
What did you say?
Suck it in sex. Sorry.
But
There's
yeah,
something on in the background there. I'm getting confused.
Only by the Night does have some great songs.
Okay.
Closer is amazing. Have you seen them perform that? I think it was on Letterman. And the
No.
guitarist is playing the riff with his teeth.
Yeah, he does that when they
that
play it,
sounds
doesn't he?
Yeah, don't really know why. Surely that must be very
Cold-
uncomfortable.
Cold Desert is my favourite
Beautiful.
Kings of Leon tune, and that is on that album. But yeah, that, like you say, when you get past the fact that it's the biggest one, but obviously that's for a reason, because
Yeah.
they've got some
Mhm.
amazing tunes on. Like,
Yeah.
the whole album is, I wouldn't skip any song on it, basically. It's
Mm.
all
And
great.
I'd
I love
probably say
Manhattan
that
as well.
more so than
Yeah,
the first few albums. Even there's a few on the first few albums that I'll actually skip over.
yeah,
and
yeah.
which I didn't think when listening to Only by the Night recently, from not doing it for a long time, that would suddenly become the one that was like, oh yeah, this is just full of good tracks.
Mm.
Whereas I always thought I liked the first three more, but there definitely are skippable songs on those.
Yeah.
Um,
Have we all got a different favourite album for these? Because I feel like we did when we were discussing
Yeah, we
this.
do.
mm-hmm.
Cal.
Mine is Because of the Times.
Yanni, what's yours?
Mine is probably a Heartbreak.
Mine, and I think
Nobody
this
asked
is.
you, Liam.
I'm going to tell you anyway. This is
Words.
Prefix. What's the right phrase here?
I don't even know where you're trying to go with this.
Prefixed. This is words before this are that I think if I spend more time with Only by the Night, maybe that could creep up. But for me, it's probably Come Round Sundown.
Mhm.
But a Heartbreak is very close to that as well.
Yeah.
It's more nostalgia, I think, for Come Round Sundown.
I remember
But it does
getting
have some
that
great
on
songs.
CD and playing it at Christmas.
Yeah,
Because that's when I got it.
I remember vividly getting that. And I think Only by the Night was my first CD I actually bought with my own money. I mean, it was pocket money, obviously. Like, I didn't earn it. I was fucking 11.
Yeah.
But-
I think the one that one, Only by the Night, and going back to them, Favourite Worst Nightmare. I don't know whether because it was a HMV deal. Like, I know what you're on about, Liam, when you mentioned it before, but I'm sure,
Yeah.
like, I may have got them at the same time even, but yeah, I remember getting Only by the Night on CD as well, like buying it myself and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's our collective top three that we all agreed on relatively fast for us three, to be honest.
Yeah, it
Normally we'd still be talking about it if we decided a month ago
I think
to pick.
There was an awful lot that just one of us weren't too keen on. I guess they're the three that, and I guess that's possibly why they're also just very popular bands anyway, and seem somewhat
Yeah. We like them, so they're
cliche,
popular.
I guess. But yeah, exactly. Somewhat cliche, but that's because they are. We think they're all good bands.
So,
I mean, they're cliche for a reason, aren't they, as we keep saying?
well, yeah, exactly. But moving on from the top three collective, just so you know what we're all about, now we've got a bit more individuality to show. Callum is going to take the floor with this one on his own individual taste. Now, we will interject at certain points where there's crossover and stuff, so prepare for that.
Yeah, am I doing my individual ones, and then are we coming back to the combined ones again?
Yeah, why not? I've said it now.
Yeah, fair point.
You're not sticking to the schedule.
Oh, no, you know what?
At
You know,
all.
it's a bit of a tease. Callum will talk about his own afterwards. Let's do this combined list first then,
Yeah.
because that makes more sense.
It does.
That's
That's why it was in that order
Do you
on the
want-
schedule.
If Callum's going
Is it?
on his individual first, do you want me to do this?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm doing it anyway. So the first, I guess, on our kind of secondary collective list, these are ones that we don't necessarily that we all like, or two and a half of us like, essentially. The top of the list here we have the Kooks. Now, I know for me this is only Inside and Inside Out. Is that the name of the album?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got confused for a second there. But that is a fantastic album,
Yeah.
I think, personally.
Another one where I remember going and getting the CD. It
Mm.
was in
It-
Real, and I bought that.
I'm pretty
That
sure my
was,
sister had this, and I pinched it off her.
This one for me was the 3 for 5 deal, and it was the first. It was the first one I bought with something else. I think it was We Are Scientists or something like
Oh.
that. But yeah, this album is timeless and brilliant and fantastic, and I've not really been that interested in anything else they've ever done.
They've not beaten it, have they? They've not topped it.
They've had a few
There's some
decent
good
tunes.
stuff, so-
Yeah, a few decent tunes,
Yeah.
but definitely
but-
nothing that comes remotely close to this first album.
No,
Beginning to end is just fantastic.
it is.
Next up, we have a band. Again, I would say, I don't know. This is true actually, because I personally like their last album as well. Surprised by the fact I like the last album. But it's a band called Kasabian. Now, many reasons to not listen to Kasabian. Well, one reason, I guess, but it's quite a big one. But we thought we'd include it anyway because it's. I guess I'll-
Yeah, it's something from
You're
our
making this
childhood that
more
will
awkward
come-
than it fucking needs to be.
Yeah, I
Liam.
don't really know how
Christ
to approach
alive.
it. But hey ho, if you're not sure, search about Kasabian. I'm not going to tell you, but we all like the music they created as a band, as a group of people, and not just an individual. But particularly for me, it started off with West Rider
Pauper
Silver
Lunatic
Pauper
Asylum.
Pauper Lunatic Asylum. That was another one, 3 for 10 on that deal, and that blew my mind the first time I listened to that. It was an unbelievable album, and pretty much everything they've done. I didn't really like 4813, personally, but I loved Velociraptor, which I think is actually quite unusual. I don't think many people like Velociraptor. The first two albums as well, and I actually did quite enjoy their last album more than I expected when I listened to that.
Well, one of the songs on their latest album is one of my favourites of theirs, but which Ilray, open brackets, The King,
Right.
close
Yeah.
brackets. But as a whole album, I think I've listened to it like twice in my life. And
Yeah, I
I've
only
not-
listened to it once.
I mean, I'm not going to listen to it now.
Kasabian
Yeah.
for me, like a greatest hits band where like I literally just made a playlist of all the songs that I like. I've not.
Mm.
I don't go there and listen to a whole album with them. Apart
Yeah.
from West Rider, I could do that. But the rest of them, there's just like greatest hits. So I just put a playlist on
Yeah.
of all my favourite Kasabian tunes. that I have
Absolutely
on
Some of
there.
them
unbelievable live band. Unbelievably,
they are.
unbelievably
Yeah.
good.
They are very good live band. But definitely, yeah, greatest hits. I guess that's fair to say.
Yeah.
But some of those hits are fantastic.
I believe we
are.
were all actually at the same gig.
We were?
Separately. Yeah.
Yeah, Yanni and I
Oscar
were
Sabin.
together.
Yeah,
But
didn't
yeah,
get
we
an
were
invite,
really
so
Well,
Sorry.
you went with your sister, didn't you?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Stop moaning then.
In your little costume, your little skeleton costume.
That probably
Did
sounds
you wear
some-
like a Maccabees outfit? Is that what you were wearing?
No, you know how
Is that the Maccabees thing?
the
Surge.
4813.
Oh, Surge, yeah, of course. Why am I hanging on the Maccabees?
I didn't actually have a skeleton
It's a
costume. I just had a Kasabian jumper that was
The skeleton.
the skeleton. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I
Don't
remember
make
the
me out to
skeleton.
sound
Surge,
even more of a gimp than I already
phase.
am.
Surge, a great musician. We should point out.
He is.
The SL.
Next on the list here is a personal favourite of mine. This is one that I guess
We're not
me,
allowed to
Yanni
like
and-
it.
Yanni, you and I, we got into this band as well
Yeah.
at the same time, I guess, and got heavy into them.
Well, we
Tom, I don't really know what your
we got heavy into them
relationship is with
together.
this
Yeah,
one.
I'd say, but I listened to them before I knew of you.
Yeah, I knew hits before, but not really.
Hmm.
But this is Red Hot Chili Peppers.
My
we're talking about.
my relationship with this
He-
band. When I was younger, I really liked them. Like, I mean, probably like 6. I remember really liking Scar Tissue and the Zephyr song when I was very young. And I still like them now. Obviously, there's ones that I do like, but I'm not anywhere near as deep into
Yeah.
their discography as you two.
Yeah. I'm just gonna ask you, Yanni, what your favourite album is.
By the way,
Yeah, if I had to pick one, it'd be By the Way.
Yeah. It's gonna have to be, innit?
The latest album I didn't really love. It was alright. But I won't put that down to Josh Klinghoffer because I really do like I'm With You. Only recently, I guess, I've kind
Yeah,
of
you
got
told
quite
us
into
about that.
I think
particularly the
Klinghoffer's
first
got a
half
bit of a raw deal, hasn't he? Because he is a wonderful guitarist, but
Well,
fantastic.
he's been
forever
fucked
going to
off,
be
hasn't
in.
he?
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. He's forever going to be in Frusciante's shadow.
Yeah.
But I am excited
And
that they've
obviously-
got him back, so
Yeah, no, it is.
we're part of the problem.
Yeah, I wish he was given more. I think the band as a whole. It's evident on the Getaway. I think that the band on a whole changed, not necessarily because of Josh Klinghoffer, and I think that kind of stunted his ability to show off a bit, which is unfortunate. And now he's done 2 albums and he's going. But yeah, that last album I didn't love. I've honestly never really listened to Stadium Arcadium in full.
Neither
Which
have
is
I. I've like
too
skipped
much.
through the songs, but yeah, like that's it. There's just too many songs.
Seems too daunting.
Yeah.
But Californication is a brilliant album. Blood Sugar is a brilliant album.
mhm.
I also really like One Hot Minute.
Underrated.
Not a massive fan of the first 2 albums, really. It's just a bit too manic for me. I've never really given much time to them, I suppose. But it's more that kind of middle era. I
after
guess
the
Californication, by the way.
after the break, they
The
had
return of
the
Frusciante.
return of Frusciante Part
The
1.
first return.
Yeah.
Blood Sugar's a
definitely.
great album.
Yeah. You're damn
But
right.
yeah, Yanni, favourite song quickly?
Favorite song? Oh, fucking
Give
hell.
it.
Okay.
Come
Venice. No, I was going to say Venice Queen, but it might be Venice
Oh.
Queen. Hey, actually, off Stadium Arcadium.
Oh, okay, yeah, he's a good song. Mine is Dozed. Off, by the way. A song that they've only recently played live for the first time because they need like 3 guitarists to do it. But anyway,
Next
next on
band.
list. We have Block Party.
Yeah.
For me personally, another album I bought on the 3 for 10. I've got quite a lot of albums, I guess, on that.
Were you
which was
shitting
Silent
money in
Alarm.
high school?
No, I'd get like, to be honest, I think it might have been like 2 for 5 and 3 for a tenner or something. And I'd get like a 5 of pocket money off my mum. And so I would either get 2 or save up and get 10. So for like probably a good year, I just bought CDs every week. Which is like me now when I buy records. But they cost a lot more. And it's my own real money, which is more sad. But Silent Alarm, I'm a big fan of Silent Alarm. But apart from that, I haven't really put much time into. I guess you and you guys are probably better at talking about this.
Callum is, definitely.
Yeah, I went to see them in 2009. They were my first ever gig. With Jacob Lloyd Thomas, who
Mad.
Hi, Jacob.
yeah, hi
You're
Jacob,
listening.
if you're listening, I hope you're well. Hope we see each other on our walks along the Chester Canal soon.
Do you bump into him?
Yeah, quite regularly.
Ominous.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah,
That's cute.
but yeah,
What about Black Boy?
I mean, again, as it's quite, it's been quite a theme so far. The first 3 albums, wonderful. And it kind of went a bit shit when the drummer left. Matt Tong, I believe, is his name. Anyone know if that's true?
Did it all go a bit
all went
Matt
Matt
Tong?
It went a bit Matt Tong,
Hey.
yeah.
Great
I think
man.
he actually left after the 4th album. So, but that was just a bit. It had a few good songs. Ratchet's a great tune.
Yeah,
I was going to say,
say
was that the album
Ratchet, wasn't
Ratchet?
he? Yeah.
I
Was
think
it Octopus, that album?
yes.
Awesome.
I think. Or was that the first single?
First
Was it
single.
4, maybe? Was it called 4?
It might have been
I
called
feel like
4.
Yeah, it
got a few
was.
names
But yeah,
in there.
Ratchet I think was on the deluxe album. So,
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah. I
um,
don't think it was actually on the album.
but yeah, my personal favorite is Intimacy. I think that is a wonderful album. I've got that on picture disc, and it is nice.
Lovely.
Okay.
Yes, Yanni,
Another
I believe
one.
you're. Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, are you going on to another band? Okay, you do.
Go on, you
that.
can do this one, Yanni.
Yeah, yeah. Another one to preface is the word you were looking for.
Preface. I probably said that. I did probably say that
You definitely
somewhere. Probably.
Um,
said that.
would be that Morrissey is
A knobhead.
a knobhead, yeah.
Yeah.
But when they're in the Smiths, that's one that we all like. We all like the Smiths. That's one that I think that's what every sort of indie teen goes through a phase where
Yeah.
they weren't listening to Smiths and then suddenly they love the Smiths.
You get
And
a
they
bit.
have
You get a bit
Hatful
angsty.
Apollo t-shirt.
Yeah. And we all agreed on that we love the Smiths. I mean, that was about the time, again, when... Was that around the time that we were at the band? With all of us?
Yep.
Yeah. That
It was
one
high
week.
school, I think.
That one week. That one magical week.
The Smiths were actually, we mentioned these when we originally planned to do 5 collective bands, and
yeah.
these were the 4th band, but we couldn't pick a 5th, so they kind of got
Right.
shafted.
Oh,
They got
right.
a bit shafted,
Yeah.
really.
See, I thought that was a band that's a bit further down, but I guess maybe that was the potential 5th. And
Yes, it
we
was.
didn't- Okay, we'll come to that later.
But yeah, I mean, what's to
Smiths,
say that already hasn't been said about the Smiths?
Great discography. It's hard to really say what your favourite album is because they all have the same songs on. It feels it's very hard to
I'd
remember
say
what to wear. But
the
Favourite songs?
Meat is Murder is probably my favourite album that isn't like a... Because they've got like...
I don't even know what's an album, a studio album.
Yeah, a lot
they've
of them
got
are
like a
compilations
collection.
and stuff,
That's
aren't
the
they?
word
Yeah.
I'm looking for, compilation.
Yeah.
I go with Meat is Murder purely because you've got Headmaster's Ritual, got
Yeah.
Joke Isn't Funny, Nowhere Fast, and Barbarism, which is
Barbara
a
Streisand.
stonking bass line. Um,
Such a good bass line.
but
Absolute rip snorter.
yeah, so the Smiths, there we go.
I'm trying to think I want to say what my favourite song is, but I
Yeah,
can't,
How Soon Is Now is
remember.
my favourite song, and I think that might well be the best song,
Ever? Is that what
Possibly.
you're going to say?
possibly ever.
Really?
Oh, I love it. I don't know why. It
I would
makes
not go
me-
that far myself, but
It makes me feel things. That it's just the guitar tone that Johnny Marr.
What song was that, sorry, Con?
How Soon Is Now.
That's a good song.
I absolutely love
I'm
it. I don't know why.
I can't remember what the name of the song is. I don't want
Rubber
to say
Ring.
It's not actually the name. Rubber Ring's a very good song. That night has opened my eyes.
The Night Has Opened My Eyes.
The night has opened my eyes. Is that what
That's what it's called.
I know the song? I can't think what the actual title is. That's my favourite Smith song.
Really?
Funny enough.
Oh,
Yeah, I love that song. Absolutely love it. But yeah, Rubber Ring is very high on the list as well.
love it. Moving on.
I can't find
We've got a very modern band to talk about next. Liam, you are going to take the floor for this one, baby.
I'll take the floor this one. This band is a very modern band.
Wow, deja vu.
I heard that from someone that I admire greatly. Not. This band is Sports Team, a very recent band, I guess.
Would you say they're modern?
I'd say they're a very modern band. Released an album this year, Deep Down Happy, but a litany, that's a good word, isn't it, of singles and EPs beforehand. Just a great... I'd say I like every single one of their songs.
Would you say you were a fan of the album, Liam?
I'm a fan of the album. I own it 12 times. Let's get past that. All on vinyl. I also have a cassette and one CD. 2 cassettes and 1 CD. Don't ask why. Let's not think about it.
What's your
But-
favourite sports team song, Liam? I'm interested.
My favourite sports team song that's a tricky one, that, because there are so many that I genuinely just really love. If I was to say from the album, because that's just easy for me to pick, I would say Born Sugar
Okay.
is my favourite song. I think that's a fantastic song. Although, if I had to really give you my favourite, it's
That was the question.
possibly not that. But I get confused with some of the names on sports team songs, because a lot of them are just like one word names, and I often get them mixed up.
It's
But
too much for his
I think
brain to
maybe-
compute.
I think maybe like Casper or Georgie, one of those I really love as well.
Okay.
Or Camel Crew.
Okay.
Which is a
Which
classic.
version?
The
The
original version. I
Yeah,
can't remember that
okay.
fucking new shit. But yeah, sports team, very good band.
Well, thanks for asking, Liam. My favourite sports team
No, I don't
song
care.
is
I don't
Liberal Friends.
Okay, yeah, Liberal Friends is a really good song.
I remember getting that on record when we went to see him.
Yeah, I also really like when they released the kind of demos, I guess, of that.
Mhm.
Friends, that's a really good song as well.
Yeah. One of them's like an early Camel Crew, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think that was Friends.
Was it Friends? I can quickly listen.
Oh, maybe I'm confused. And
yeah,
there's
it is
another one
Friends.
as well.
Country Life.
Country Life is a very good song. I haven't really listened to that many times, but I remember really liking that when they released that.
Yeah.
Callum, what's your favourite sports team song? You like sports team?
I do like sports team. My favourite song is
You do?
either Fishing or The Races. I'm not as indie as you two. I don't know a lot of the earlier stuff.
God,
I like
you're
M-
so
I like
mainstream.
M5 and Stanton on the album. But
You should listen to the rest of it. It's all pretty good.
yeah, I don't know why I haven't really, because I am a big fan of the band.
listen to the Winternet EP and Keep Walking EP. Are both just chock full of bangers.
Banger.
And that goes to everyone out there as well. from Liam Godfrey.
The next
band.
one after Sports Team we've got is Idlers, isn't it? That's how you pronounce it. Idlers, Idols. Now, we've all seen these, and there will be a separate... There'll be a special for this.
Yeah, we'll
kid.
do a whole
There's
episode
just
on that whole night. It
Christ
was a
alive.
mess. It was a
Um,
whirlwind.
What happened?
You remember? Yeah,
Very
Idols.
good live band.
They are extremely good live if you get to see them.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you get to see more than half their set.
We're seeing them again, aren't we?
No.
Me and you are, mate.
Oh,
Yeah, I said I do. I said you asked me. This isn't.
Ah, good.
You won't be in
That's
me.
your fault. You and I are watching it. I mean,
Let's talk about the band.
fantastic band.
How did
3
you?
albums.
How did you come
How did
across
I
them?
hear them? Did I introduce you both to these?
No,
Oh, no, you didn't.
Oh,
no, you didn't.
Gaz did, I
Didn't
think,
I?
for me. Or
I don't know who
Fantano.
did to me. I think.
Fantano or Gaz.
probably Fantano. I definitely wasn't told about them. I came across them.
Yeah, I think
I came across them on Twitter. Or something.
I think I saw them from BBC Six Music's Twitter.
Right.
And I saw that they was it? I can't remember what it was nominated for. Probably a Mercury Prize. Joy.
Yeah, I think it was.
And I then proceeded to listen to them then.
I remember seeing a lot on Twitter, particularly from Radio 6, about when Joy was released. And I listened to like 1 or 2 songs, really liked it, bought the album. And then I guess at some point went back and listened to Brutalism.
Yeah,
Fell in love with that.
I tell a lie, actually. I remember randomly
Don't tell lies.
coming across the video for Mother. Is that the one where he smashes loads of stuff?
Fuck her.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember coming across that like way before it, when Brutalism had just come out, and then being like, I'm not ready for this. And then when
Yeah, I was the same. It was like so new and
exactly. And then when Joy came out, that's when I went back and that's when we all started listening to them. Everyone in the world started
that's
listening to them.
new album was also good. I'd say we probably all agree it's probably not as good as the other 2, but it's still very good. And also their older stuff is really good. I really like
The
the
Meat
Meat EP
EP.
and also
Yeah,
the
it's quite-
Welcome EP.
Yeah, some of
That
it's
was,
quite
taken off
Maccabees
Netflix.
inspired, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's one particularly that I like. And I
There's,
can't remember
a
the
song
name.
called, is it Two Tone?
Yes, is that the one that Dev constantly goes, Hawaii?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
I really like that song. It's
Yeah,
a
I really like that one as well.
Yeah, that Welcome EP was taken off Spotify for a while, which I was quite upset about, and then they put it back on. It felt like a glorious day. But yeah, that Mayday Germany 26, 27, they were really good songs. A lot of really, really good songs, very well written.
Straight to the point.
Good. It's good music.
Good, loud music. Next artiste, not a band this time, and I'm going to need Callum to take the floor on this one, is Declan McKenna.
Yeah, big deck.
Dick.
What is quite
Look at you,
what is quite depressing is this artist is younger than all 3 of us.
Please, no, I don't
Much
like hearing
younger.
that. I don't like hearing
younger.
that.
I think it's his 21st on Christmas Eve. I might be wrong.
Oh.
Might be his
Birthday.
22nd. I'm not really
What
sure.
have we done with our lives?
I think it's, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I've
Oh.
been a fan of Declan McKenna for a while. I remember seeing him support. It was either Cortinas or Blossoms. And it was just him. He didn't have a band at this point, and his loop pedal malfunctioned. So I kind of felt a bit for him then.
That's useful.
Yeah, because he would have been about 16, I think.
14.
Yeah, so that'd have been enough for me to never go outside again.
Yeah,
But,
that's
um,
upsetting.
But yeah, I've been a big fan of him for quite a while. I prefer his second album to his first, which is a very big compliment because I really like the first album.
Yeah, I really liked his first album, and then when that second album came out, I didn't. From like one of the singles, I wasn't really that bothered, and then I liked Daniel, He's Still a Child, but I wasn't really. And then I eventually got around to listening to the album and like absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
And then at some point went back and listened to the first album and didn't like it as much. It was almost as if like I was like, oh no, this is what it should be, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? But I didn't realise I could like him more than that first album.
Yeah, I don't want to sound condescending because obviously he is a much better musician than probably us three combined. But I feel like this second album
Count
shows
me out
how.
of that.
I think together we'd be okay.
I think the second album has showed a maturity, which
Definitely.
has maybe it might also be that it's all the songs are from a collective period, so they sound more cohesive.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
Well, we're definitely not
musically
mature,
and-
so I mean, he's got that on us.
Yeah, he's definitely got those. I think musically and like stylistically,
yes.
matured for sure.
Nice. The next artiste is Tame Impala. Take it away, Yanni. So, I wanted to take this because I haven't spoken in a while, and I love the sound of my own voice. No, I don't really. I love Tame Impala, to be honest with you. I think we may all differ. Oh no, we all agree that Lonerism's the best, but like other albums, we differ on what we like in comparison. For me, I think the latest release might be better than Currents. That being the Slow Rush, obviously. But I feel like the songs may be better on it, but that's just my humble opinion. But yeah, I love Tame Impala. I've seen them twice.
How
One
good
time with
was-
each of you.
How good was Blackpool?
Blackpool was phenomenal. We met Nick O'Malley, Liam.
You
case you didn't know.
Fully
Zedeke?
aware.
But yeah, that was incredible. Like, if you had to see him live, do it.
I don't really remember the.
We're at
Callum, were
Liverpool.
you with us when
No,
we
he
was-
wasn't.
Yeah.
He wasn't there.
Oh, I'm thinking Mark DeMarco.
Yeah.
Sorry, spoilers.
I have absolutely
Um,
zero recollection of that gig.
I was just about to say I don't really remember that one. I don't know. I think I do.
I remember Liam
seeing it
almost
earlier,
getting battered twice, but other than
Yeah, that normally
No,
happens,
listen,
doesn't it?
I almost battered
Yeah.
myself.
But yeah, we're all in agreement. Lonerism's the best album Kevin Pocket has done.
that, without a
Um,
shadow
To be
of a
controversial and argue that.
But yeah, I mean, I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I love Tame
Incredible album.
Impala. He's a genius. The fact that he does it by himself is amazing. The next band,
Supergroup, you could call them.
you know what?
You could.
I'm going to Supergroup.
Wow, you've done
The Last Shadow
it.
Puppet.
Okay.
Um,
The last ones.
we all, again, obviously, this is why it's a combined list. That was a fucking stupid to say.
Wow.
Liam,
That's handy.
he likes the second album more so, which I think we all do, but he doesn't really. I'm going to speak
be
on his
honest,
behalf.
Come on, yeah, go ahead.
He hasn't even listened to the first album.
I haven't really, no.
But yeah, we all love that second album, and it is incredible. I mean, it's Alex Turner, it's Miles Kane. What more do you want?
I won't say that Miracle Line is one of the best songs I've ever heard. And I will stand by that till I die.
Wow. My favourite off that would be The Born Identity. Is that weird?
I also love She Does the Woods.
No, I don't like that one.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say Yanni doesn't like that one at all. I think my favourite would probably be Dracula Teeth.
Dun,
That's a very good
dun,
song.
dun,
Sweet Dreams,
dun.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
It's just a wonderful
Used to Be My
album.
Girl. It's a very good album.
I
Yeah,
think
it's
this
very good.
album really. I know he doesn't sing all the songs, but I think this album really gave Alex Turner the platform to show off his voice a bit more,
Mm.
which I think then led into Tranquility Base, him being a bit more.
Yeah.
Vocal
If you
central.
going back to your previous point when we were talking about them, if you listen to this in between, you can see the
Yeah,
transition,
That's like the step, isn't it? Yeah.
especially with
almost.
everything you come to expect, because that's just like so piano
Yeah.
based.
That's a good song.
That I mean, yeah, we could spend hours talking about this
Just
album. It's
Before we
great.
do move on, though, the
Mm.
cover of Leonard Cohen's Is This What You Wanted that
Mm.
they released shortly afterwards is impeccable. And that definitely talks to what Colin was just saying there about showing off his voice. That song is fantastic. Well, that cover is fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic song. So good.
Have anyone else got more to say on The Last Shadow Puppets?
It's just sad that they're like the last ones. It's like Baby Yoda, innit?
You don't know.
I don't know. I've not seen The Mandalorian. I'd have no idea. I assume it's that's one.
Anyway, that's for the other podcast, mate. That's the Star Wars podcast.
Oh, Star Wars.
Yeah. The final combined list band is Foals. Now,
Yes.
to be honest with you, I've not really, apart from Callum, I've not really talked to you, Liam, about this album, this band much. I don't think recently. So, give me your thoughts on
Yeah.
Foals, baby.
My thoughts on Foals is I'm very much a kind of greatest hits in the same sense that you were with
Sabian.
Kasabian.
Hmm.
Yeah. I guess that's as much as I can say. First song I heard from
Man, a
Foals
few
was
words.
Cassius, which I loved Cassius. I don't think I've ever really listened to an album in full. I think that's part of the problem. Because some of it doesn't do it for me, but some of it does. Like Miami. I'm kind of going through each album. Like I have like 2 songs, Inhaler from the next one. Yeah, I don't know. There's not much for me to say there, but I think they make some really good music that I would listen to. But
Again,
wouldn't say
going
much more
back
than that.
to like with Tame Impala, are definitely up there with like one of the best live bands around at the moment.
Yeah.
Incredible. Just after I had a jaw operation, me and Cal went to see them after they released just part 1, wasn't it?
It was part 1, yeah.
Everything Not Saved. Will Have a Name. And it was a sweatbox for one, but like
we were stood on the balcony, weren't we? And we still came out dripping.
Yeah, it's incredible. And we was it one of the first gigs we went together? We went to see Foals.
Yeah,
Me and
well,
It was when I was away.
it was,
You did not
yeah.
mean to go with.
Yeah.
Yanni and I went on the train to Manchester, and that's where our current band was formed, or the idea of such was. Then we went to see them in Manchester Arena, and Yanni, you'll describe this better than I can, but describe the incident.
There was a song playing. Do you remember what song it was?
I
Inhaler.
no,
It was
I
heavy.
don't think it was Inhaler.
It was a heavy song that they've got anyway. Loving Life. Everyone was bouncing, moshing, jumping around. Like I say, it was the heaviest song, so everyone was loving it, giving it some. Looked to the stage. Amazing. Everyone's going mad there on stage. Looked back to my left to see how Cal was doing. And as I did, a middle-aged 40-year-old man decided, you know what, I'm going to spear him and cut Cal in half.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It was like one of them little. It was one of them stupid, annoying little sub mosh pits.
Yeah.
You know, like when you're in that little crux between the main one and then like a little bin off one. I was on the outer layer of the bin off one, and I just got absolutely thrown. It really hurt.
I'm amazed we managed to reconnect after that because the velocity at which that man impaled your body.
I have not been that far off the ground in a while.
It was a sight to behold, but cracking case nonetheless.
It was.
Do you remember that guy at Chili Peppers who was just causing trouble?
Oh, he was a knob. He was.
Yeah.
Was a similar instance to that? It was just some. Or was
There's
he just
always a
in the
knobhead,
mosh
isn't
pit
there?
and he was just going a bit overboard? Because that guy at Chili Peppers was just being a prick.
I tell you who else was being a prick at the Chili Peppers. Manchester Arena's guy who did the beer price. £22.50 for 3 bottles of Heineken.
Wasn't that Mac
I don't
DeMarco?
really
No,
remember
that was-
No, it was free for a tenner in Mark.
Oh, right, okay. Which is
Yeah.
still...
Was it?
Yeah.
Was it free for 20?
No, I think it
No,
was
must
3
have
for a
been
tenner because I remember being pleasantly surprised at how cheap it was.
Yeah, I remember just getting free and
But yeah, I couldn't believe it. It was £7.50 each for a bottle of Heineken. Heineken is piss anyway.
We still did it though,
it's
didn't
not
we?
good. In
Because we wanted a
plastic bottle
beer.
as well.
Oh yeah, of course we still bought one.
What else are you going to do?
Yeah, imagine being told the price and then going, no, I couldn't bring myself to do it.
No.
I'm too awkward to be like that. Favourite album,
Beautiful.
Cal? Of theirs?
I think Holy Fire because
Yeah?
I'm not mad on like the whole album of many of theirs. Like there is a lot that I'd skip,
Hmm.
but I think Holy Fire would be the one that I'd skip the least. Providence is unbelievable live.
Yeah.
I love Late Night. I think that might be my favourite of theirs, full stop. But I also
Alright.
like Everything Not Saved, Part 1.
Yeah.
I was
That's
very
awesome.
disappointed with Part 2. because I generally prefer their heavier stuff. And they were saying before it was released about how it's so much better than part 1 and how heavy it is, and it was just a bit shit.
Yeah, a bit meh. Bit of a wet fart in comparison, wasn't it? I'm going to be controversial and just say that Total Life Forever is my favourite Falls album. I love that album. But, alas, that is
We've come to an end.
We've come to the end of the combined list.
We're going to have to do a really quick overview of our individual leftover list.
Do we?
Well, it's already an hour and 10 minutes, and we thought this would be about a 20-minute little...
Yeah,
intro.
but, this is just a chat, innit? Just three lads hanging about,
Oh, okay,
know?
then. If you want to turn off, please don't.
Go on, Liam. You've got the most to go through, so...
I'm going first, am I?
Again,
Right, can I just say, I know that we just said that we're not going to skim over, but Liam, please skim over.
Well, again, like I was saying before, we'll interject at points where paths cross.
Yeah. Listen, keep listening to our podcast, and you may hear more information on some of these bands another time. So, this is just a taster of what our tastes are. Yeah, I've positioned this probably different to you guys, but I've done this as like my development of music through the years. So I'm starting from an
S Club 7
time of music. I did like S Club 7 as a kid.
Shouldn't have
My
said
first kind of so my favourite S Club song, I would have to say, is what would it be? Don't Stop Moving, probably. So my kind of earliest memory of music, I guess, I started off there. Music wasn't very big in my household growing up, I guess. My mum and dad both had very different music tastes, so there was never really music on. And neither of them were really that into music either. One of my earliest kind of memories of being kind of wowed by music or really interested by music when I was a kid was my older brother, who was about 10 years older than I am, gave me his iPod Shuffle. And it was chock full of rap and hip hop.
Chock-a-block.
And it was absolutely chock-a-block. So we got stuff like 50 Cent, Dre, Eminem, Snoop Dogg. They're kind of the big names, and everything in between, I guess. And I must have been, I don't know, 6 or 7. It really wasn't the time to listen to all these explicit versions of these songs. But yeah, I had a great time with that. I used to skip through trying to find 21 questions, and obviously it was a shuffle, so I'd have to sit there for ages. I'd sit there shuffling for ages and ages until I heard dum dum, and I'd stop, and then I knew what it was. Other than that, I guess we listened to a lot of music in my dad's car, driving around, and that was a lot of kind of acoustic, folky stuff, I guess, which is where I get a lot of that love from. So like Jack Johnson, Johnny Cash, Paul Simon, Cat Stevens, Tracy Chapman, also Paolo Nutini, who's quite into them. So there's a lot of that kind of laid-back style. Going into early teens, I won't go into my emo phase. I'll skip past that. But I was quite into Fall Out Boy.
Fall Out Life?
Fall Out Life. Fall Out my wife. Quite into Fall Out Boy, I guess, at one point. But then, as we've kind of gone through already, Inside In, Inside Out from the Kooks, West Riding from Kasabian, and another one from that Free for a Tenner was Two Door Cinema Club's Tourist History. That was kind of my first foray into kind of indie, I guess. Then going into kind of school and starting the band, like we said. My next three, funnily enough, are our top three: Arctic Monkeys, Kingsley on the Beatles, Chili Peppers. Around that time, also got into Black Keys, Pixies a lot, Smiths, as we've said. Also discovered Warpaint, Mac DeMarco, Arcade Fire, Metronomy, Kurt Vile, and also some J. Cole, slightly different style, obviously. But that was, I see that as like kind of my middle point for discovering music, where a lot of that stuck around, but also kind of influenced further loves, I guess. And then we get to kind of college, and not long after moving out into the real world, and discovered a band called Pavement, recommended by someone I worked with, who asked if I've ever heard of Pavement. I hadn't. Went home, put Bright in the Corners on from the beginning. I start off with Stereo, and from the very beginning was like very intrigued and hooked. And then it went to Shady Lane, and then it went into the rest of the album. Mine was blown. I absolutely loved it. I remember going back to work the next day. I was like, I listened to Pavement. They're absolutely incredible. This is like, I love Brighten the Corners. I love this song. And this person was like, oh yeah, I only know Cut Your Hair, which is literally was their most popular song. So it was quite a chance, I guess, that he told me to listen to them, but definitely stuck with Pavement over the years. Steve Malcolmus's individual work as well, stuff with Jix, very much into all of that, and also Silver Jews, which he was part of for a moment, but also Dave Berman's stuff with Silver Jews after Malcolmus left. Also around that time got into Elliott Smith quite a lot, Either Or in particular, it's a great album, and then his earlier band Heat Miser. And around this time as well, I guess you can pinpoint this time by this next album, but A Tribe Called Quest released their last album. We got it from here. Thank you for your service. We got it from here. And I loved that album and played it on repeat. Which I guess that's kind of my kind of love with hip hop has kind of been sporadic, I guess. And like an album will come out and I'll be obsessed with it. It's not necessarily constant, but that was a big one. And then last few years, Sports Team's been a big one. Idols, also Alex G, or formerly Sandy Alex G. I think he's gone back to just Alex G now. Kind of big ones over the last few years. And then this year has been very busy, a very busy year of finding out new music. I guess working from home, I've had music on 24/7. So there's a band called Sorry released a debut album this year. I'm really into that. Twin Peaks discovered their back catalogue. And Baxter Jury, he released an album this year, and I got very much into his back catalogue. And that brings us up to November 20 something. I'm not going to say a date. 2020, where we are right now. And that's my life through music. Thank you for listening.
Wow, I know everything about you now.
Yeah, that's all you need to know. I've finished now, yeah? Can I go?
Yeah, you can go, mate. Right. Well, that was lovely, mate. There's points
Thank
there
you.
which I feel like I'm the middle ground between you and Cal. Like, I lean in to both of you. So do you want me to go next, or do you want to go next, Cal? What do you want to do?
I don't mind.
Yeah, we'll go on then. You go next. Do it in the order. Fuck it.
Yeah, you go next one.
I think for my individual taste, the place I should start really is Blossoms. I know Yanni's a fan. Liam,
I'm a human.
Liam, not so much, but I think you like the odd song. But
Yeah.
I think they've influenced me quite heavily. I've seen them 24 times live.
Loser.
Yeah. I mean, anyone who knows me knows how much I like this band. Which kind of has made me listen to more stuff going back. Like they're quite influenced by a lot of like 80s stuff, 90s stuff, which made me listen to Talking Heads. I did know the odd tune before properly delving back, but actually going back into their discography, they're now one of my favourite bands. Stop Making Sense is, in my opinion, the best live recording of a gig there ever has been. Yeah, I don't really know what else to
His
say. other than-
brain's just melted.
2 bands.
It has, yeah.
Two bands,
I'm-
that's
I'm-
it.
Two
He doesn't
bands.
listen to anything else.
No, I'm a big shoegaze fan. I like Ride. I like Dive. I like Always, but they're more a bit more dream pop. Yeah, there's not much I don't like really, but I delve more into the indie side of things. But there we are. At the moment, I'm really liking Everything, and Inhaler. They're two of my bands that I'm really loving, who have released stuff this year. But yeah, that's pretty much me. Nothing too exciting.
Lovely. Thank you, Callum.
It's all
Thank
right.
you for sharing
It's all
Thank
right.
you.
in this safe space.
Really are.
Thanks.
I think you said too
Um,
much there. Christ.
Yeah, I
You,
know.
you really
Um,
should cut.
I'm not gonna lie to you, boys. You both stayed very still on the on the Zoom call, so I thought I disconnected, and
Yeah,
it really
nervous.
threw me off.
Well, do you have more to say?
Yeah, do you have more?
We are here.
Not really.
For you.
I mean, I just I mean, I like psychedelic porn crumpets.
He likes music.
Yeah, the Verve's,
Cal's the
Verve's
indie
first
one.
album. Yeah, the Verve's first album is fantastic. If you've only ever heard urban hymns, I implore you
Yeah.
to go and listen to their first album, which the name
The
of
name
it
is-
escapes me.
Yeah.
But it's really like quite heavy, quite shoegaze. Before Richard Ashcroft turned into a singer-songwriter, when he was actually making, not pop music. But I digress. Yanni.
Callum, the indie one.
Yanni. Again with Liam, like musical influences come from kind of all over the gaff. A lot of the stuff that I now listen to quite a lot would be from Liam. But
Fascinating.
there's a lot of stuff. Shut up. There's a lot of stuff that
I was gonna
actually
say I'm a cool guy.
came from being like on car rides to. I've just put on my torch on my phone and that scared the life out of me. Came from car
Shine a
rides
light
to
on
school with my dad, where he'd just have his iPod on shuffle.
her. You played some good music.
He did.
I remember being in the car.
And I feel like the more I look back, the more times where there's been like bands I wouldn't have expected to have heard when I did hear being played. Like the one that comes to mind is Kings of Leon. My year 6 teacher put on one of their tracks, and he also played Rage Against the Machine, Killing in the Name of at our year 6 leaving do, but obviously had to cut off the end of it.
Was
Which
that
is just
Mr. Tudor
really
Vincent?
mad.
Fantastic.
Was that Mr.
It
Tudor
was
Vincent?
Mr. Tudor Vincent. Yes, it was.
Didn't even
yeah.
go to your school, and he is synonymous.
Yes. So yeah, all over the place really. But
Didn't he make you learn the lyrics to 1,000 Trees by Stereophonics?
oh, maybe actually.
I'm sure I know more. I'm sure Morgan's told me that story. before.
Yeah. I mean, probably. But yeah, like
Did you go
so.
to school with Morgan, Yanni?
Yeah.
Oh. I
Um.
thought we went to Maya.
I went to Maya.
Yeah, I thought we went to Maya with you.
You two
Oh,
went
right.
to primary school together. Do you not remember? so, so I had like influences from the rock side to pop side,
rock.
like 80s side. Yeah, Dwayne.
I didn't know you
Dwayne
knew
Johnson
Dwayne.
was just always there.
you know Dwayne the Rock Johnson?
I
Oh,
do
is that-
personally. He's a family friend, but
Too
I
fair.
can't go into it. He doesn't like me talking about it. And then like rap. So for instance, my dad had Dr. Dre's 2001 album, which again shouldn't have been listening to at the age that I was.
We've been ruined.
I'm very lucky that the song "Pause for Porno" didn't come on randomly at any point during our car journey to school, because that would have been incredibly awkward. But I remember one of them came on and he was like, "Oh shit, I better skip this one. I can't have this one," because it was a bit too full of profanity. But then yeah, that leads on to like Queens of the Stone Age, for example, songs for the deaf. That album, he had that on, and that's where I grew to love that. And a lot of the bands that I like now seem to always go back to them as well, like Octa Monkeys. They go back to it and stuff like that. I'm just stroking the air. So I like rap, I like rock, my kind of things.
I like rap.
I like. I listen to a lot of like Kanye West, for example, Kendrick Lamar, Kid Cudi, and Tyler the Creator. As well as like when Liam was mentioning before, like earlier stuff like 50 Cent, and stuff like that. And then I've got the more indie tunes and stuff like The Cribs, The Strokes, Dive, Jamie T, and Mac DeMarco. I love Arcade Fire, stuff like that, and all the big names like Oasis and Radiohead, all that. I've found myself going towards people that do it themselves a lot. So
Nick
Mac
I
Knowles.
put the
DeMarco.
shelf up myself. Do you know that?
yeah.
Nick Knowles.
Matt DeMarco, for example,
Big up
Jamie
Nick if you're
T,
listening.
Tame Impala, obviously just Kevin Parker who mainly does that, and Tyler the Creator as well. He did a lot of stuff by himself. And
He
Dive,
was
the
a
first
wonderful
album, was the first album Dive. I think Cole did it by himself, to be honest with you. So stuff like that, I find myself going towards a lot. For some bizarre reason, But yeah,
A DIY kind of guy.
I'm
Aren't
a DIY kind of guy, baby. So yeah, I'm the middle ground between Liam and Callum. It's fair to say that if they were both turkeys, I have each hand firmly
Keep the stuff
inserted to stuff them.
If we were a drumstick
Yeah.
and I was the cherry and Callum was the milk, is that what it is? Raspberry and milk? I was a raspberry. I want to be the milk. I'll be the milk. Callum's a
I
raspberry.
want it to be the milk.
And Yanni, you're the stick.
I'm the stick.
No, you're the lovely bit in between that's just got the nice two flavours together.
Oh, thanks.
But it's somewhat,
That was
it's just
nice.
less. It's just
Oh, it's
lesser.
not- oh, there we go. There's the dick. Right. So I was happy being a stick. That
You can be a
is
stick if you want.
our individual taste. So I hope that helps you get to know us and where we come from and our opinions moving forward on the pods to
Should
come.
do.
Um,
Callum, tell us about the pods.
Yeah, go on.
Well, we'll have new episodes out every Monday, and we will have additional episodes out on a Thursday, but they won't be every week. If there's
Well, is it definitely going to be Thursday? Should we just say there may be other episodes?
no, I think it should be Thursday.
Maybe it'll be Thursday. Maybe it won't.
I think it will be Thursday.
But maybe. Just remember it might not be.
It probably will be. These additional episodes will be like gig reviews when life returns to normal.
Yeah.
The odd little funny bits.
Yeah, we'll have like certain gig stories from the past, like we alluded to with Foals and Idols before.
Some little bonuses.
Yeah, we're gonna have some Christmas episodes coming soon.
Yeah.
We're gonna go over our
Jingle bells.
favorite albums of 2020, and just overall, lots
Yeah.
more bullying of Liam.
Yeah, there's lots of that. We also have a
So-
few episodes in the bank.
We do,
We'll
yeah,
tell you about that.
yeah.
we'll tell you about
We've
that
done
soon.
5 practice podcasts, which, I mean, if anyone
Probably went better than
particularly-
this.
if anyone particularly wants to listen to them, I think they're a bit shit. I had some audio issues
Yeah.
one episode. The first episode is bad, but if anyone wants to hear it, let us know, and we'll post them. But yeah,
Yeah.
episode 1 is out as we speak. Well, not as we speak, but as you as you hear.
Yeah.
As you hear,
Yep. So yeah, go and give that a whirl if you can stomach another hour of us.
Oh god,
Or
there's too
more.
much fun day this. I
Yeah.
just couldn't be bothered.
can't be bothered to you. But there's
I
going to
can't
be
bother talking
on
to
the
them.
there's-
bonus episodes. It's just going to be without Liam. That's
Yeah,
the thing.
that's
It's just
the
going to be a
that is the
podcast, but
bonus.
Liam's
If you
muted.
subscribe to our Patreon, you'll get Liam free episodes.
You
But
do
yeah,
have to pay for that
seriously.
though, because it is a privilege.
Patreon /
we haven't got a
Hold on.
Patreon yet, but
No,
yeah.
the only
I've got
fans
one
is
though.
up though.
We'll
If you
start
want.
milking you for money in the future. Yeah, go and follow us on our social medias at Fools on the Hill podcast on
Just
Instagram.
on a hill.
On
That's what I
a
said.
hill.
Did I say it
No,
on
you
the?
said
You
the.
said the hill.
Did I?
You said the hill.
Oh wow!
Come on, Callum. We know from the voice note we're not going to talk about this again.
Again, put it in.
No.
Yeah, sorry. At Fools on a Hill podcast on Instagram and Facebook, and at Fools on a Hill pod on Twitter, because Twitter wouldn't let me have the whole
Ah,
word.
Twitter.
But anyway,
Rude.
Liam, do you want to say your catchphrase?
I mean, it doesn't seem as
You
natural.
don't.
You can't do that. I was literally
You don't
about to do
invite
it,
the
but you
catchphrase.
can't.
You just let it roll itself in.
Well, on that note,
There we go.
see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.